Okay, welcome to lesson 2 in chapter 1. We are going to talk about solving two-step equations. And the key thing here is to remember PEMDAS. So for example, problem number 1, we have the equation 2x plus 3 equals 7. So this is a two-step equation because we have two things happening here. We are multiplying the variable and we are also adding to it, two different mathematical operations. So we're going to think about PEMDAS. Okay, remember it's parentheses, exponents, multiplication, and division. Notice I circle them because we take them in either order, whether division comes first or multiplication. We take them together as a group, and the same with addition or subtraction. Okay, so this is order of operations. So when we undo, we have to remember that you're going to undo in the reverse order. So in other words, the first thing we're going to do with a two-step equation is always look at undoing addition or subtraction. Once we are done with that, we are going to look at undoing the multiplication or division. So addition or subtraction first, multiplication and division second. We do it in reverse order because we are undoing. So there's our problem again, example number 1. 2x plus 3 equals 7. Undo the addition first, undo addition by subtraction, and by the same amount, in this case 3. So subtract 3 from both sides of the equation. We get 2x plus 3 minus 3 gives you 2x. 7 minus 3 is 4. Okay? Now it's easy. We just take a look at undoing the multiplication of 2 by dividing by 2. Divide both sides by 2. We have x equals 2. Now you're going to do the check. You take your answer of 2. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 is indeed 7. The answer is correct. Please press pause and do letters A and B. Next we have example 2. We have 25 equals 1/4 n minus 3. Undo subtraction before the multiplication. So undo subtraction by addition. Add 3 to both sides. We have 28 equals 1/4 n. Now this is the multiplicative inverse is what we're going to use here, but because we have a numerator of 1, we can just multiply both sides of the equation by 4. 28 times 4 is 112. 1/4 times 4 is 1n, so we just have n. Again, you're going to put the answer in the check. You could put 112 in a calculator, divide by 4, subtract, you're going to get 28, subtract 3, and you get 25. Please press pause and do letters C and D. On to example number 3. Now this one this is one of those problems where you really have to be careful because kids see subtraction here and we know that we need to get rid of this first, so they're going to add 6. Well, if you add 6 to this, you would just have 12 minus 3x equals 27. That will get you nowhere. What you want to do is we need to get rid of 6, and it is a positive 6. So to get rid of positive 6, we of course need to subtract that 6. Subtract 6 from both sides of the equation, and you get negative. Don't forget to bring the sign down. You have to bring that sign down in this case because this is not a positive 3x, it's a negative 3x. So we have negative 3x equals 15. We need to divide both sides by negative 3 since we were multiplying. And we get 15 divided by negative 3 gives us negative 5. Watch your signs. Now you're going to put this into your original equation. You're going to put in negative 5 times 3 is negative 15, but it's minus a negative, so it's really a plus. So 6 plus 15 is indeed 21. Example number 4. We have negative 27 equals 1.8c plus 32. So we're going to get rid of the addition by subtracting, and we're going to subtract 32 from both sides. It's a negative and a negative here, so we can add these up. It's 59 and it's negative 59. Don't forget to pay attention to our signs here. And we have 1.8c. So we're going to divide both sides by 1.8, and we get c equals negative 32.8. Put that in your calculator, multiply it by 1.8, add 32, and you should get negative 27. Please press pause and do letters E through G. Here are your solutions to the letters problems for section 1-2. Problem letter A is 3x plus 2 equals 20. First of all, I wrote over here that I want you to notice that we have multiplication and addition happening on the variable side of the equation, so we have to decide which we're going to undo first, and of course that is addition. The other thing I want to mention here on this particular lesson is pay attention to the two sides of the equation. What I mean by that is I have seen students take this problem, 3x plus 2 equals 20. We're going to subtract 2 from both sides of the equation. They subtract 2 here and they subtract 2 here. You have to look at this problem whenever we talk about both sides of the equation. These are the sides of the equation. It is always determined by the equal side. This side of the equation is one side, this side of the equation is the other side. So we have to subtract 2 on this side and subtract 2 on this side. Don't just pick any two terms. I've seen that happen, so be careful about that. Subtracting 2 from both sides, we get 3x equals 18. Our next step is obvious. We're going to undo the multiplication by dividing by 3 on both sides. We have x equals 18 divided by 3 is 6. Now we're going to check our answer. We go back to the start. 3 times 6 is 18 plus 2 is 20. We have a good answer. On to letter B. This problem is 5 plus 2n equals negative 1. Again, we have multiplication and addition, so we're going to undo the addition first by subtracting 5. Notice that we're subtracting 5 here. Be careful about this when they reverse these. That confuses some students. Take a minute and think about that. Subtract 5 from both sides. Negative 1 minus 5 is negative 6, and we have 2n on this side. Obvious next step is to divide both sides by 2. Divide 2 here and here. We have n equals negative 6 divided by 2, which is negative 3. Now we're going to check our solution. Negative 3 belongs right here. So negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Negative 6 plus 5 is indeed negative 1. On to letter C. Negative 1 equals 1/2 a plus 9. Again, I didn't write it here, but we have addition and multiplication. Undo the addition first by subtracting by the same amount, 9. We get that to both sides. We have negative 10 equals 1/2 a. This is one of those cases where we're going to multiply by the multiplicative inverse. Multiply by 2. We have negative 20 equals 1a, and we can stop at that point. We don't have to divide by 1. So we have negative 20. Well, 1/2 of negative 20 would be negative 10, plus 9 would indeed be negative 1. Letter D. 2/5 r minus 5 equals 7. Undo this first. Subtraction by doing addition by the same amount. Add 5 to both sides. We have 12 here, and we still have the 2/5 r on this side of the equation, which means we're going to multiply by 5 in order to get rid of the denominator of 5. We get 60 on this side. Now we have 2r on this side. Divide both sides by 2, and we have r equals 30. Our check goes like so. Move this up here. 30 times 2 is 60. Divided by 5 is 12. Minus 5 is indeed 7. We have a good solution. Feel free to use a calculator for some of these if you need to, but work on doing math in your head when you can. Letter E. 10 minus 2/3 p equals 52. We need to get rid of the 10. We're going to subtract it, because even though this is subtraction here, we're subtracting this variable, so consider that negative 2/3 p. It'd be like 10 plus negative 2/3 p, and that's why the negative sign comes down here. So to go back and re-explain that, we need to subtract 10 in order to get rid of the 10. 52 minus 10 is 42. This is gone, but we carry down the negative side. It is a negative 2/3 p equals 42. We have to multiply by 3 first. We end up with a negative 2p equals 42 times 3 is 126. Again, you can do this in your head. 2 times 3 is 6. 4 times 3 is 12. Should be able to do some of these in your head. Divide by negative 2, and we get, again, 12 divided by negative 2 is negative 6. 6 divided by negative 2 is 3. And we get negative 63. Again, you could put this in your calculator. I'm going to let you do that one on your own. Letter F. Negative 19 equals negative 3x plus 2. We're going to subtract 2 from both sides. We end up with negative 3x and negative minus negative means it's more negative, or in other words negative 21 in this case. Divide by negative 3 from both sides, and we end up, notice I moved the x over to this side. It's okay to do that in this situation. X equals negative divided by negative gives us a positive 7. Back up to the top, negative 3 times 7, negative 21, plus 2 is negative 19. And lastly, letter G. N divided by 3, or n over 3, however you look at it, but I want you to see that as division. N divided by negative 3 minus 2 equals negative 18. Add 2 to both sides. We have n divided by negative 3 equals negative 16. By seeing this as division, we know that we're going to need to multiply by negative 3 for both sides. Negative times a negative is a positive, and it is n equals 48. Again, back up to the top. 48 divided by 3, it's negative, so it's going to be a negative 16. Negative 16 minus 2 more is negative 18. We have a good solution. Okay, these are the solutions to 1-2 guided practice. Our first problem is 6x plus 5 equals 29. We are going to undo the addition of 5 by subtracting 5 from both sides of the equation. We have 6x equals 29 minus 5 is 24. We now need to undo the multiplication of 6 by dividing by 6. We have x equals 24 divided by 6, which is 4. Then we put our answer in the original equation. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 5 is 29. We have a proper solution. Keep in mind that you should be able to check every single answer you get in this algebra section, and therefore checking your solutions should really be about looking for your solutions to try and figure out why you couldn't get a correct answer, because you should know it was wrong before you even check, if you're checking your answers. Number 2, 3 minus 5y equals negative 37. Undo the 3 by subtracting 3 from both sides. We have negative, remember, negative 5y equals negative 40. Divide both sides by negative 5, and we have y equals positive 8. Put our solution in the original equation. We have 5 times 8 is 40, but it's minus 40, so it's 3 minus 40, or a negative 40 plus 3 is negative 37. Problem number 2. 2/3 x minus 5 equals 7. We're going to add 5 to both sides of the equation, and we end up with 2/3 x equals 12. We have a fractional coefficient, so we're going to multiply by the denominator first, which is 3. We end up with 2x equals 36. And now we need to divide by 2 since we're multiplying by 2. 36 divided by 2 is 18. Back to the original equation. 18 times 2 is 36. Divided by 3 is 12. Minus 5 is 7. We have a good solution. Problem number 4. 63 equals 6.5, or $6.50. That's why I put an asterisk here. We wouldn't really need to put these zeros here, but they're doing this so that we recognize that we're dealing with money here. Doesn't really matter. So we'll look at it again. 63 equals 6.5p plus 17.5. We need to undo the addition first. Subtract 1750 from both sides. We get 45.50 equals 650 times p. We divide both sides by 650, or 6.5, and we end up with p equals 7. And remember, in this case we needed a unit because it was a word problem, so it should be 7 people. Problem number 5, essential question. The answer to this is you must undo using the reverse order of operations. So in other words, instead of PEMDAS, reverse the PEMDA, etc. And it becomes, you undo subtraction and addition first, and then undo division and multiplication next.